Jai Ma. Today we are going to listen to the 12th chapter of Roaring Silence. To know is to be. It is not an easy task to be with Guruji for a disciple for a long time unless the disciple is ready to dissolve his limited ego into the limitless ego of the Guru Tattva, especially during the training periods. Otherwise, the limited ego in us will start revolting at every step, which will prevent the sadhana to take a definitive shape. Once the disciple accepts the includeness, Lagutattvam of himself in the Guru Tattvam of Guru, which annihilates, removes the limits of ego, and makes his life in a disciplined way, makes the life to flow in between the banks of disciplines of this world and the world we want to attain. For this, the disciple has to undergo a rigorous training with utmost vigilance. If the disciple understands that this tedious training is for the betterment of his future spiritual life, of course the difficulties involved in the training will not make him lose his heart. But if one just keep obeying the commands of ego and give more importance, or he has real affinity towards it, definitely he will curse himself and will feel that, oh, where I have given my head to an unknown person who imposes more and more meaningless rules and regulations. So, life with a guru is like walking on a razor top. The quality of merits we have earned in our previous birth decides the nature of the life with our guru. As scriptures say, one gets a guru only because of his Purya Janma Sukritam, previous meritorious deeds, and which only takes him to liberation from the clutches of taking birth again and again. Me being a homesick, emotional idiot as a rule, we are nowadays being taught to think spiritual and worldly life like two separate entities. When mother is guru, father is guru, then guru must be advanced, improvised mother and father. But since the invasion of certain sensual element, which made enjoyment as their goal of life, started hatching a theory that both spiritual world and material world are different, and spirituality is enemy of householder's life. From the past 900 years, gurus are separated from mother and father. When father and mother are given the rank of guru, they are happy. But when real guru is brought in, they are afraid that they will lose their importance. I was not aware of the dangerous pitfalls involved in the living with a guru as an innocent boy at the time of leaving my home village, where I was not provided with real knowledge about the actual relationship between the guru and a seeker. Our real mother and father is guru only. That is, only when we get a guru, we take real birth. We get ultimate mother and father in guru. Because nobody's parents are ready to lose this donkey, their son, who will work for them in future to realize their broken dreams of becoming a don-like. So guru is blacked out totally from everybody's life. We are not aware of the consequences of this blackout philosophy. Same thing Buddha's parents did, so the parents of post-independence are happy to see their son a liar, cheat, rowdy, pervert, drug, sex addict, and help them gain all the knowledge in these arts. But if anything they want to or show any interest in spirituality, they become sleepless. That is what happened with me totally. External and materialistic vision of the environment, parents, brothers, sister, and friends. I did not have enough lessons in Guru Shishya Sambhadana. But only after my initiation, when I started living with my Guru, just because of God's grace, to whom I used to call Amma, I came to know what is meant by love. So, I not only experienced my Guru as a friend, brother, sister, father, and more than everything, mother, I enjoyed the love and affection from Amma, which I never experienced from my own parents. I was in a tender age of teens, with all foolhardy expectations about life, world relations which are all fed and taught to me by this world, which do not have any meaning when I joined her. My Guru, who is a world by herself. In her, I saw the real world, universal family. As I stated in my autobiography's first part, I lived with my Guruji in the dense forest of Kollur, not much far from the famous Mookambika temple in South Indian state of Karnataka. Amma used to stay under a big tree on those days in the forest, few yards just after crossing Sauparnika river, where day and night always dark due to thick vegetation of dense forest. The surrounding nature was so inviting and elevating with unpolluted atmosphere, but the wild animals were the only source of fear in my mind. Once after reading my mind about the fear of those ferocious animals, Amma told, "Fear not. Love them, they will love you too. Love every being, you will be loved. Hate, you will be hated." I learned the alphabets of love and affection from her. Nights we stay under the tree only. Amma just sleeps carefree about the ants or insects, or not even bothered about scorpions and snakes, which sometimes visit our bedroom under the tree in open sky. But before sleeping, I used to clean daily the ground under the tree where I sleep, just near the holy feet of Amma. She smiled sarcastically on my action. Finally, one day she told, "If you can clean entire earth, do it, not just 6 foot land where you use for your pleasure." I was a bit shocked by it. Since then, I never repeated the mistake of cleaning off that 6 foot land, which was my place for sitting near Amma, for eating, sleeping, etc. Never a small ant ever bit me, nor was there any disturbance from dangerous beings of that forest. Sauparnika River, for ages, has been revered by visiting devotees of Mookambika as a Tirtham, and they used to carry water on their return to keep in their house. As the people staying there, we too used the river, a small but elegant, beautiful flowing down from Kudajadri, the hill where Adi Shankara done his tapas, brought Mookambika from the top of the hills. We also made use of the river for our daily ablutions, bath, drinking, etc. Whenever we go for a bath, I washed the alfi, which is the only cloth she wore, and gave good bath to Amma. She taught me of doing sadhana sitting in neck-deep water there. Fishes bite my body when I sit a long time in river doing my japa, where I lose my body consciousness. And once she told, "This is good. The fishes, are getting something to eat. Be there. Like this, when you're in samsara, let this body be useful for others' betterment." This was the way of her training to me, and Avadhoota must be carefree about his body and not to have any attachment to it, as it is an instrument only for doing any good for others' happiness. This inspiration only gave me courage and capacity to serve others with interest and sense of belonging, even when I have certain sufferings of the body. Once a shopkeeper, who was running a small tea shop near Mookambika temple, came to Amma crying. His shop was in shambles without proper sale and was sunk in debts. For some time, Amma kept herself in silence. Evening, Amma asked me to go with her. I just followed her. She entered that shop, which was in a dilapidating stage. She went around the small shop and just stood in front of the kitchen. She started urinating in front of the cooking range, and as if nothing happened, she started walking out. I felt very bad of her behavior, but could not ask her veracity of what she has done, so in fear of getting few blows from a walking stick. But there were no limits to my surprise when after few months that shopkeeper visited upon Amma to convey his gratitude that everything had turned around. His business gained momentum, improved a lot after Amma's visit, and he constructed a permanent building, and the shop makes him earn nicely. He brought few dal vadas, but Amma not accepted and told, "Never give bribe or pay for the favors received from me. Just throw it in the Sauparnika. Let fishes get a good lunch today." For a human being living in the computer age of today, such things appear to be absurd. Mind you, what science can see, yet give in this world is so little. There are fourth dimensional activities of people like Amma, whose actions, words, movements could not be brought under scientific scrutiny. But every word, gesture, action, movement of an elevated soul like Amma is result oriented. If any scientist, due to prejudice, tries to make their actions codified, it will be futile effort. They can never be codified. Even Arjuna needed someone to show and guide him when he was in the battle of Mahabharata. By now, my stay with Amma and me becoming a sannyasi was 6 months old. Now, my mind started comparing the life between household and a sannyasi. Amma never let me feel loveless, far from home. Even though I get more love of divine from Amma than worldly from my parents at my native village, I started feeling a bit dull for a few days due to homesickness and an intention to show them my exalted state as a sannyasi. Amma observed my mood and asked, "What is going on in your mind?" I told my intention to visit my parents at village as I feel homesick. She laughed at my foolishness and asked, "Do you know what you are thinking, my boy? After leaving home and parents and after becoming a sannyasi, you are not supposed to look back or meet them as there are chances of developing attachments." I was not aware of this, but being an ignorant youth, my mind was disturbed of thinking my village or parents. I was sitting near Amma under the big tree where we have taken shelter. Amma called me near to her and embraced me, telling, "My son, you had lakhs of parents in your previous birth. Do you remember them or cry for them? This sannyas is verily a new birth to you. Being a sarvasanga pratyagi, a sannyasi should never look back homewards. Look, I am here as your mother, father, brother, sister, friend and guru. I am all for you here, worry not any more. Kill that very thought with that sword of Asanga." But I was in tears, trying in vain to control. Amma told, "Look to me, wipe out your tears." I looked her, but there was no limit to my wonders. My mother, who gave birth to me, was in front of me. A moment of deep silence covered me. I fell down, holding her holy feet for a long time. With a laugh, Amma told, "Foolish boy, forever and ever I'll be with you. Do not cry any more. Remember, other than me, none is yours. Be with me, I will always be with you." This assurance alone makes me live even in my painful life with lot of bitter experience, or even in my serious illness. These were the ways of teaching of Guru to his Sishya. My Guruji never gave me lectures, but her teachings were showing pinpointed practical ways of doing things, which I have to observe, study, apply in my life. As she loved me too much, she never allowed to go to collect bhiksha, and she herself used to bring from the temple and feed me with her hands. When she brings the bhiksha, she does the Pancha Mahayagna of feeding ants, birds, etc. That wonderful experience of a Pancha Mahayagna of feeding animals, birds, even ants, and finally me, then only she takes food. By this, I learned the lesson of not to eat anything without yagna. Now also I have made it a habit to take food only after feeding all servants, guests and disciples etc. on all programs convened in ashram. Once it was raining heavily in one of the monsoon in Mookambika. Sauparnika was overflowing. It was impossible for us to cross the river. We were drenched as we sat under that big tree in open without any shelter other than sky. Rain continued for the whole night. Looking into the river, I was worried how we will go to the other side to collect bhiksha. Rain stopped. The sun was shining, but the earth as well as the trees were wet. I was shivering little because of drenching whole night. Amma went twice to Sauparnika to see the water flow is reduced or not. Usually the flood comes as a flash and moves out as the water coming from the hills move downward quickly. But it looked it was not possible to cross the river as the flow of water was in full strength. I was feeling hungry too. I could easily hear the temple bell inviting bhikshus and yatris to collect their due of bhiksha. My Guruji looked my face and shivering body. She looked around, put her hand in the tin dabba in which she collects food for us from temple. Daily she washes it and keeps it empty after food, and I knew it is empty. But to my wonder, she took 4 bananas from it and gave 3 to me, and 1 she kept in her hand. She asked me to eat it. Till I complete eating those bananas, she kept the 1 in her hand, and as soon as I completed eating, she crushed the banana in her hand, put it back into her tin dabba. I was wondering and did not understand what was happening. By now my stomach was full, but I felt bad for Amma had not eaten that banana which was in her hand. I looked in the tin box, another wonder. The crushed banana she put in tin dabba was not there. Later, when I was ready to leave her for my tapas in Himalayas, she taught me how to do it for survival, if at all food is not available or in emergency. Gurus never allow their children to suffer mentally, physically, or in any other way, as they like them more than their prana itself. Disciples may have got scolded or beaten up for their wrongdoings, but it is ultimately for their betterment only in their materialistic and spiritual life. But want of maturity, we foolishly, out of ignorance, disciple with their own level of thinking capacity, jump into conclusion that this guru is not good as he or she is always in a negative mood. One has to open his or her eyes in time and see and realize what is happening to the life as a disciple. Otherwise, it may become too late. To fathom a guru with a mind which is not trained to do so in well-established, well-tested, proved methods of investigative logics, knowledge of human behavior, evolution, evaluation, have to face twofold loss. One in the form of hurting a real being, and another by supporting a mind filled with full of ignorance and arrogance. It is like supporting our own Duryodhana like son. Just because he is our son, and thus supported Duryodhana will never leave to live in peace. He will destroy even all your ancestors called Purva Punya. So such adventure is like measuring an ocean with a spoon, or like counting stars at sky with fingers. But with a broken yardstick of ignorance, the earth, we measure our Guruji, which takes one to oblivion of non-belief or half-belief. State of doubtfulness, which is verily destruction, which takes them to the series of hell-like existences of negative experiences, helplessly. Scriptures say, Viswasam Baladayakam. As such, the staunch belief in Guru and their teachings and applying it in life only will take anyone to conceivable result of our faith in the law of eternal call, realization. Otherwise, realization is a myth. Anyone who come in the relationship of Guru Sishya, in particular, retain a birth must make sure and keep monitoring that any bacteria of doubt should not infect our element of faith in us. Maintaining the faith itself is a full-time job of a sadhaka, like the breath intact with the body. I would like to part my experience with such a situation in my life as an ardent sadhak, but prone to ever-ready misleading, misguiding, exploitative and manipulative elements, energies, powers and factors around. I was standing on the banks of the river Sauparnika for a long time, looking into some incomprehensible without any outward consciousness. When I came back to awareness, it was about to sunset. Amma used to go near the mandir of Mookambika often. It is their way of paying their obeisance as the state of awareness right from outside, maybe for a walk in the evening. But on such days, I notice she never takes with her anyone, for that matter asking me to be at riverside doing japa or dhyana. One day she was on such usual visit. One person from Sri Ramakrishna Yoga Ashram came running to me telling somebody tried to beat Amma with a stick. When I heard by reflex, I ran fast towards Amma where she was sitting. Amma was sitting on roadside just holding her right hand with left hand. When I asked Amma what happened, she simply smiled. Few people were standing around there, and from their facial expression, I could easily make out something wrong happened. But Amma did not reply anything, even though again and again I asked as to what happened. But she never bothered to reply. One among the people standing there told, Swamiji, Amma was trying to take few bananas to feed the old cow standing on the other side of the road, but the shopkeeper hurt her with a stick. Amma used to take bananas or anything from any of the shops to give to cows, dogs, or to children moving around the road, or as she pleased. Never any of the shopkeepers objected, denied, resisted whatever she did, as they all knew very well that just the presence of Amma near their shop itself is a great blessing upon them. In fact, they will be happy if Amma takes something from their shop to feed cows or anybody, as they knew their business will shoot up with such doings of Amma. It seems the shop was new and the shopkeeper was not aware of Amma's way of doing things with others. I got angry, rather wild, and gave the shopkeeper a few blows and he fell down. Amma came running to stop me doing so. By this time, people standing there lifted him from the road, shown me his right hand. It had gone stiff like a log of wood. One of them told, as soon as this man beat Amma, his hand stiffened or paralyzed. Now he cannot move it. Shopkeeper was crying and asking for pardon for his mistake. My anger was not getting down. In fact, I wanted to trash that shopkeeper who hurt my Amma. Amma came to me with a bit angry mood and told, Why are you bent on punishing this poor shopkeeper after all a natural reaction? She said in an unperturbed voice as if nothing happened. See his hand. Unmindful of her own hands, with all Karunabhava, Amma went near him and took his hand in her hand, gave him a small massage with love to it, and told, All this happened just for few bananas, which I wanted to feed that hungry cow. Go and feed few bananas to that cow and keep it every day. You will be all right. He obeyed, took lot of bananas and fed the cow. Next day onwards, heard he was doing it without fail as if an order from Amma. His hand has become normal now. Just one day's forbearance made the shopkeeper a devotee. Often I argue with Amma on her such actions like lifting some eatables from shops and feeding others. Her logic was totally different, rather paranormal. Nothing is personal in this world, beta. Everything belongs to one Ishvara. If one is not ready to share his given with his fellow beings or to a needy person, such as food or cloth, the person who possesses will surely suffer or reborn for a very sufferingful life. I just do it to help the person to bring out of this awareness in him, out from his moham. None of you can understand why I am doing for others for their better living. I felt ashamed of me for not understanding the secrets of the vision of my Guruji's action. Once Amma was invited for Bhiksha by one of the families at Mookambika. They were one of her staunch devotees. Usually, Amma never accepts such invitations. We subsist or exist only by the food distributed in the temple for sadhus and yatris. But to my wonder, she told them decently she will come for Bhiksha at their residence. She asked me to follow her for food. With all devotion, they prepared and served a royal food like rice, samba, curry, papad, etc. and prayed Amma to start eating. But to my wonder, she mixed everything together and divided it into 5 parts. As usual, she made a whistle sound, and from where, I wonder, a dog, a cat, a crow appeared inside the room where we sat for food. Amma gave them their due and took one part to outside and fed to a calf waiting there. She entered the room and the 5th part she gave to the Brahmin who offered food to Amma. It was visible from the face of the Brahmin that he did not like this action, especially that dog entered and started eating from Amma's plantain leaf all along. Amma asked the Brahmin to take the share with equally among his wife, family members. Once the Brahmin took his prasadam from Amma, shared to his family members. Amma sat near me and started feeding me everything mixed together as if she is feeding her small child. Finally, she herself also took a handful of thus mixed food. I, nor anyone there, were in a position to understand a least of her action. One day morning, one of the devotees came to Amma with few dosa and chutney. Dosas were well packed in a teakwood leaf so as to enable it to keep warm. Chutney was kept in a small copper dabba. With a different kind of happiness and smile in face, Amma opened the dosa packet and looked on it for a few minutes. She made them in small pieces and put around her and there. It was as if she is doing some archana. Then she blew her usual whistle, putting her fingers in mouth. Dogs, birds, and ants arrived there and started eating the thrown dosas. Amma asked the devotee, "Have you not brought chutney?" He offered chutney from the copper dabba. Amma drank the whole chunk of chutney in one sip. I was thinking I also will get a share of that nice dosa and chutney. But no, not even a single word of courtesy she uttered. I asked Amma, "Amma, you don't have that much love to me, as much as you love your pet creatures? I thought you will definitely give at least one dosa as prasadam." Amma replied, "Oh, you want to eat dosa? Okay, be on your knee bent. Eat a piece of dosa as the dog eats." She told, pointing to a piece of dosa lying on the ground. Now there is no way to escape. I do not have the guts to deny. I only invited this unexpected situation. I did bend to earth, keeping myself on my knee, took a piece of dosa by mouth. The piece of dosa entered in my mouth with a small stone and little mud. I swallowed it and sat quiet for a moment. By this time, the animals disappeared after eating their share. My mood was very bad, little tears in my eyes. Amma came near to me and put her hand round my neck and looked my face as if nothing happened. With an accumulated courage, I asked Amma, "Amma, why you are behaving to me like this? Today you made me a dog. No problem, let me be an obedient dog at your feet." I cried. Amma told, "Buddhu, this was a lesson for you not to have any temptations or affinity towards any kind of food. You are a sannyasi, not supposed to ask for anything. Be happy always with what you get according to prarabdha. Remember always, yatruchya labha santushto." I kept quiet as I knew whatever she does, it is of course for my betterment only. I used to sit in front of Amma, bit far from her, as if I was in meditation. My mind used to wander here and there, but I pretend to meditate. One day I was sitting near her with closed eyes, as if I was in meditation. I felt thirsty and wanted to go to Sauparnika to drinking water. My mind was like a kid studying in class 1 or 2 who raises his finger to go to urinal, only to escape from the class. I showed the signal for permission to go to drink water. Amma told in rough, uncompromising words, as she knew I wanted to escape from the long time of sitting for meditation. "Sit there and meditate. Don't move." More than 2 hours passed. In fact, I wanted to drink some water. Finally, she asked me to get up and go with her. I followed Amma to Saparnika, and as soon as we reached there, Amma gave me a big kick from back, and I fell head down into the river. I heard the yelling sound, "Drink, drink as much as you can, so that in future there should be no thirsty at all during your sadhana." Without drinking even a drop of water, I came near Amma. Tears overflowing my eyes, Amma told, "Beta, during sadhana never yield yourself to other diverting thoughts to enter in you. Hunger, thirst, etc. are all only mind's play to keep you in body consciousness. Forget body, mind and intellect. Try to be just a witness of what is happening. Never pretend that you are doing sadhana. Let it happen and be a witness." To teach me this practical lesson, she put me in a very different situation, memory of which is undeletable. It is the end of chapter 12. The true birth begins when one finds his or her guru, who will be everything to him or her, irrespective of the time, location, and situation. Tara Maa becomes everything to her disciple Avadhoota Nadananda, a friend, brother, sister, father, and mother. Like a true mother, she takes care of him so very lovingly and teaches him deep spiritual lessons when the time has come. She leads him through example and lives a simple and holistic life by being one with nature. Guruji also follows his guru, Tara Maa. He leads by example, living a selfless and simple life. He takes care of his disciples in all ways, like a very loving and caring mother. He knows when, how, and what to give his disciples. There is no bound to the extent of love of a guru and guru parampara. All we are required to do is to have true faith and complete surrender. If you found this video helpful, please do share with your family and friends. Chapter 13 will be released next Sunday. Jai Maa.